First, I'd like to get this Facebook Live started the right way. God is good all the time. Once again, I repeat that. God is good all the time. Today, I talk about Back the Blue. What that means is for the community and all those that the police has helped, the community finds a way to honor them, to let them know that they are appreciated, especially during a time like this. Police have been disrespected over the last couple of months in ways that have been unheard of. I can tell you straight up, Merle Rutledge is not a politician with police. I can tell you that one. We have been through way too much for me to even say I'm a politician with police or police is trying to play politics with me. We have always been straight up with each other. Me personally, they're good cops and they're bad cops. I call it a such thing as right and wrong. But there is a such thing as I would tell any police officer throughout this state or throughout this country. Through all of our good or bads, our ups and downs, our fights and battles, our trials and tribulations, because we had many. Yes, we did. I would not trade one single thing about how things went down. Not one thing. Because it was those trials and tribulations, those ups and downs that made us respect one another, but also be able to depend on one another when time mattered. One thing I can say for police officers all across this country, and I can say this for all law-abiding citizens regardless of race or background, your work and dedication and commitment to each and everybody in America is appreciated, and you deserve to be honored. Too bad lately politicians have been playing politics with you, and I can understand your grievance, because while you are out there being spit on, hit, assaulted, having your cars burned up, having your police stations taken down, and having everything that you have fought for and worked for throughout your career being taken away by those who you are sworn to protect and serve, and now you're being limited in that capability, where now all eyes isn't about justice, it's about playing politics. I don't believe in that. I don't care what race you are as a police officer. I don't care about what politicians have to say, because politicians are also a part of the problem that we had before. And not only politicians, there are people who are lacking guidance and wisdom. They are a part of the problem too. The thing is, we are stuck in a commonality where we all have to fix everybody's problem, but everybody else don't want to take on responsibility for how that problem was caused. See, they want to talk to fund the police. That's politicians. They want to talk getting rid of qualified immunity. That's politicians. They want to talk about taking the police out of schools where they are needed. That's the politician. And the same ones who honored you, protected you, and stood up for you are now doing the exact opposite because politicians don't like the outlook that they are getting now. But as police officers, you can't put none of that into account. You are given the orders and you are given the assignment, and you take on that assignment regardless of politics, regardless of what is being said at City Hall, whatever is being said across this state or across this country. You still have to perform your job and still be the professionals that you are each and every day. Still fighting, still protecting, and still serving the American people, which a lot of those Americans are ungrateful for right now. But I can tell you, it's many, many more that appreciate it. Too bad they're too scared to speak up because they've been silent for too long. And it's only patriots that can speak up because they don't care about politics. They don't care about how their neighbors feel. They don't care about how somebody feels that they've been done wrong. Because just because you think you've been done wrong, it may have been a reason why others did the right thing. Have you ever thought about that? These police that are out here, you will say to me personally, why would you even give a damn giving your fights with them? Like I told you, I wouldn't trade not one single fight. I wouldn't trade one single conversation. I wouldn't trade anything I have went through with police for nothing in this world. Nothing. Because if it wasn't for that experience, which a lot of people who are disrespecting the police, maybe you need to walk through my shoes and you can understand why I'm speaking up for the police today. It's because of those experiences where we learned that we would have to fight on the same side. It was because of those experiences where I was able to see the good and the bad in police. And I could see the good and the bad in the community. If it wasn't for those experiences, I would not be able to speak and represent and fight for justice. And justice doesn't mean for somebody who committed a crime. Sometimes justice is exactly making sure those who commit crime, regardless of wearing a uniform, make sure that they serve and also have the consequence for actions that go against humanity. Now, I have had my experience with Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Halifax County, Danville, Richmond, Brunswick County. And one of the things I can say about all of these different police departments throughout the state, as much as they've been accused of civil rights violations, I have found enough of the people accusing them of civil rights violations lying on the police. You don't think we don't get sick of that? Having to write a letter to the police department and letting them know we found out that the person who claimed that you beat up didn't tell us you kicked, stabbed, beat on, spit on, all types of crap. I'm from the country too. And you spit on me, I'll want your ass whooped. And realistically, people are like, oh, he's a civil rights activist and all this other stuff. Oh, there's time frames where I'm like, yeah, put some extra foot in some disrespectful criminal's ass. And yes, I will look a blind eye to it. I would. And that's because I've seen what they go through. I've been around them. In Virginia Beach, when there was groups saying fuck 12, fuck the cops, fuck them, all this other stuff. But they the first ones to call the cops whenever they need them. On the other side, standing out there with the Tea Party and seeing the cop get so frustrated, is cussing and saying all the shit we do for this city. And he was right. Because see, the politicians ain't out there blocking you from coming into City Hall or blocking you from going about your business, stopping you from burning down a business or robbing somebody because you feel like you didn't get enough from your past. And a lot of y'all past, y'all haven't experienced a damn thing. The only thing you have experienced is what all your ancestors worked hard for to make you more comfortable and more convenient. Police don't get that convenience. They get everything that they face, and they have to make sure they make the right call for all parties involved. They don't know your problems or your history before they get there. They go there directly not knowing whether it's going to be their last call, their last traffic stop, and it doesn't tell them how their next incident report is going to end. And they hope their name is not written in there saying that they died on the scene, but it has happened far too often. And too many of those who have never fought crime have protected crime and have made sure victims haven't gotten justice. Guess what? That is part of that BLM, Antifa, and all that crap we see in all across America. Y'all haven't paid that type of price. You haven't even walked in the shoes of other civil rights leaders, and you have the nerve to have a problem with the police. See, nobody talks real to the communities anymore. They so busy blaming other people when a police officer is involved. Oh, we have an excuse. You have every bit of duty to make sure you are not in that situation with the police in the first place. Because the police is there because somebody called them. The police is there because they see something wrong. The police is there to make sure justice is served. But you can't even talk about justice being served from y'all left groups or those saying fuck 12, saying fuck the police and all this other stuff. Y'all know murders has happened right now and won't testify for the victim's family, and that family's looking for justice. But them cops don't have a choice. They are there to make sure justice is served for the family, and they are colorblind to how they respond. See, I understand, police. Y'all are stuck with the blue tape. That's why I call it. Everybody saying you're the problem. Politicians saying you're the problem. These groups saying you're the problem. And all this other crap, right? And you're saying to yourself, y'all are the ones who trained us to make us the problem. Y'all are the ones who let certain people get away with certain things for so long. Because cops can't fire cops, but politicians can. Not only can politicians can, but they're employees that don't do the traffic stops. They don't know what is going on and how police work. The only thing they know is what the public wants to tell them and how they feel it may look. That's why this negative talk is going on between the police and the community, because they got politicians fueling the anger, not fueling people coming together and understanding one another. Not having the chance to sit down with a cop and have a coffee with them. Sit down with a cop, have a beer with them. Find out what they go through every single day. What they go through will have most people having PTSD. And you want to talk about the cops ain't perfect? The cops go into situations that's not perfect. And it doesn't have a police officer involved. And they do that 95% of the time. The other 5% is putting in paperwork and processing people to jail so the sheriff can take over. I can tell you, nobody's perfect. Not me, not any cop I know. But I know they love their city. They love their community. I can tell you that. Because it takes somebody with balls to put on that uniform and not know it's going to be their last day. A lot of y'all won't even take the time to sit with your families and talk to them about what they go through. But you'll spend your time talking about how they did you wrong. But you want to spend less time saying what you did to create your own peril. Actions have consequences, people. We can't tell the police to clean out their house if we ain't cleaning out our own. Our households are the reason why police have a job. People who are addicted to crime and addicted to hurting innocent people. But it seems like it takes innocent people getting hurt for them to understand why the police is needed. It takes you getting into a car accident barely able to lift yourself out of a car, but a police officer comes over there putting their necks on the line, not knowing when that car is about to blow up, but they are pulling you out to save your life. Why should we wait for somebody to just do something for you instead of having the mutual respect to know that everybody is not the same? But the problem is we all face the same problems. Law-abiding citizens and police right now are faced with the same problem. We are trying to do our job. We are trying to protect our country from monsters, regardless of your race. We are all trying to survive and get through the red tape that is holding us all back. Police are getting little pay for what they do. People all across America are getting little opportunity that used to be limitless because of those who are scared to act in the best interest of this country compared to the best interest of those they serve. See, what's in the middle of all of that is law and order. Police is protecting the community as well as protecting them cowards. How dare you talk about defunding the police? Because when you talk about defunding the police, you put everybody in extra danger. Instead of making sure the police have the tools that they need, they are more frustrated in the lack of having the people to go ahead and lead that they need. Because you wouldn't even be talking that mess if you spend a day in their uniform. We don't need the police out of our schools, because it seems like the police are the best one to give an education today because they fight the monsters, while you leaders only look at giving out a statement about them. See the difference here? Shoot. That's why I plan on making sure, whether through online or in-person learning, for now on, there will be classes taught as mandatory, where police teach our youth how to deal with each other and have that extra mentor and leader, not only to protect the school, but to make sure our students grow and learn that there is consequences that come with your action. But there's also responsibility of the police and more to make sure you know what those consequences are, and to ask questions so you can avoid those type of outcomes. We need to make sure there's no such thing as ignorance of the law or ignorance on how you encounter the law. Because when we learn and are more mindful, we stop all this back and forth with brutality. We stop all this stuff about whether a shooting was justified or not. And we stop rushing to judgment until we know the facts. Because trust me, I have faced the heat on taking the police side. Do I apologize? Absolutely not. Because sometimes being a leader is to make the calls that even your own members won't even like, or the people that trust you for leadership. But guess what? They may be mad, but they'll get over it because it's the right thing to do. And I can live with myself saying the truth, but I'm going to have a hard time sleeping letting a lie on anybody, whether it's on the police or whether it's on the community. I seek truth and justice, not myself and pleasure and ego. That doesn't serve the community. And one of the things I'm even talking about, police don't even have that as part of their arsenal. They are supposed to be emotionless towards the law. But you can't tell me when they walk up on a dead body of a girl who's been raped and assaulted that there isn't a tear that comes from their eyes, whether you see them or not. This is the stuff that they see, people. They see your loved ones when they are hurt. They the first ones to give your loved ones first responder or first aid. They the first ones to be on the scene when those are trying to commit harm to them. And they are there each and every time frame for each and every one of you. So, if you want to talk shit about the police and what they're doing, take a ride along. Take the time to sit and get to know them. Ask them how their day is going. Offer them a meal if you don't have the opportunity when you see them over there getting ready to pay for food, because guess what? They have to go with the knowledge of knowing that may be their last dinner or their last lunch. A lot of you only go with the knowledge of hoping you can make it to a club or make it to your next party or your next get together. They just trying to make it home to their family. We all are. And that's the price that they pay on behalf of all of us. They are our patriots and heroes, like the military and like all first responders, like all of those in the hospitals right now and working any kind of capacity right now. We are back in the blue. But for all of those who are out there that haven't been held accountable yet, we will back the blue when they are ready to hold you accountable. Some of y'all are playing this victim card and y'all ain't victims. Y'all terrorizing neighborhoods, you're destroying your own community, and you're bringing war to people who don't have nothing to do with your grievance, and also at the same time frame believe in hurting police that don't have nothing to do with your core issue. That's the problem here in America right now, where all of those that are rioting and protesting and causing the calls for police to be sidelined and handicapped to the point that they are no longer effective. There's no police. You have a person right here, before I ever ran for office or even thought about it, I'm going to make sure I live out to my promise that I made even to Danville and made to numerous police departments all across this country. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, because you know that. That's the good thing about when you fight and find out about each other. We allow the media and politicians to write our narrative. We allow the community and all those who didn't give a damn except for their personal interests to write our narrative. That's how we all looked at each other. And that's the problem. That same narrative is going on all across the United States of America. But see, people have put their own spin to it. And now you have to look at what is your future going to be. And the best thing I could tell all police officers all across the Commonwealth of Virginia and all across America, Patriots are coming. Mega 2020 is coming. Rutledge University is coming. The leadership that has been depended on from the beginning to call it the way it is and not try to sidestep it. Because right now, I'm going to tell you straight up, there won't be no handcuffs on you. The police is going to be known for doing police business. There's not going to be a talk about qualified immunity in times like this, nor should it be talked about in the first place, because I understand what it's all about. It's about making sure that you are able to do the job and make sure you can make the best decision based off the facts you know, and that's what you've been trained for, and exactly to make the right call in situations that you don't know that well. That's what qualified immunity is for. Letting the police officer, based off the activities going on and the totality of the circumstances, to make the best judgment call that they can with the situation that they face. Some things ain't clearly established. You don't get clearly established criminals. You don't get clearly established politicians, because guess what they both have in common? They both been breaking the law, and they both been disrespecting the law, and they both are pieces of shit for exactly what they put y'all through at this time period in America. So police, just know that the community is facing a different circumstance with this pandemic. But those in the community, don't make that justified for your situation on how y'all work together to get out of this. Virginia works better when we all work together in a common cause. Our common cause, whether police or community or any leader right now, is looking at our future, our children, and making sure they have a safer America that they can have a long life with. That's what we all want. We don't want somebody who don't care nothing about them to take all of that away. We all live to see them bury us, not us bury them. That's exactly why police and community relationships must be stronger than ever before. Because we all carry that common goal. The goal of love of God, love of family, and love of country. But we are willing to give the ultimate sacrifice for those to continue to lead this country after we are gone. So the leadership must be stronger than ever, so they know exactly what it takes. As I continue to repeat that to serve your country, to serve your family and your neighbor and those that you don't know, but what you do affects them, is the greatest honor that any man can have, or any woman. Doesn't matter whether you're a senator or you're a delegate or you're whatever. I'd rather stand with the men and women in blue that would give their life, not just for their family, but for each and every one of you, so that you can live. Being a police officer is a blessing from God and a gift that very few take on. It's not supposed to be many. It's supposed to be few. Those who care about America, regardless of who you are and regardless of your background. Police are what represents that. And you need to remember that. So God bless our police all across this country. God bless our community and our states and our friends and our neighbor and family all across this country. This message is to say exactly why I back the blue. Blue lives matter. All lives matter. My life and your life matters. Because the police represents all of that every single day for America. And I thank you again, fellow patriots.